Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe Panther III, and today we have a very special young lady coming on the podcast with me tonight. This lady is absolutely blazing the trail for herself in the independent wrestling scene. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Ryleigh Rose. Welcome, Ryleigh. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Awesome, no problem. And it's so cool to have like a wrestler like you that's just she's hey, what's going on? Welcome. Just like coming up on this awesome scene of independent wrestling. So if my internationally known audience is not familiar with you, or my East Coast peeps from the New York area from around here are not familiar with what you do, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryleigh Rose, and I'm an independent wrestler out of North Carolina. I've only been in the industry coming up on my year now. Actually, in October would be my year. So thank you for having me, Joe. And I hope that everyone gets to know a little bit about me while we are on here.
Awesome. So, who trained you?
I am trained out of Next Level Pro Wrestling and the 2-6 Academy by Hang Time. Hang Time's been in the business for over 30 plus years, so he's a wonderful trainer.
Awesome. So what kind of advice did he give you to toss into this, like mic skills, or as we already saw your promo, you're pretty good on the talking to a camera. So what kind of advice did he give you to do promos, stuff like that?
So we do promos for all of our events that we have. So it's like literally who, what, when, where, and why for whatever we're doing, or if we know what we're doing at that point, or at least if we're in the story for everything. So it's just putting yourself out there and getting used to talking and being in front of a crowd, no matter whether it's behind the camera or right in front of you, to throw a promo. That way you're getting used to talking about anything and everything that you're going to say, especially to your opponent. And then, of course, just being able to keep on your word and just know what you're going to say, know what you're going to do next. So just having that skill, or being able to have that skill. I didn't have it a couple months ago, but, practice makes perfect.
Always. So let's go before the rope, before the bell, before your first victory. What were you like? What made you join this business? Like what wrestlers or which moment you saw as a kid when you were watching the thing, when you were a little Rose? When did you get this big like love of the business?
So I've actually been a big wrestling fan since I was 6 years of age. Me and my family would just all crowd around the TV and watch Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or any big pay-per-view wrestling event that we would have, and we would always watch it. One of my biggest superstars growing up that I loved was, and everybody thinks this is kind of, a little awkward, but now he's back on TV, I guess it can make sense. Carlito was my favorite wrestler growing up.
Man, everybody used to give Carlito such mess, but he was such a good wrestler and his promos were so good.
Oh yeah, I loved him. I just loved him. And then, of course, he got released by WWE, and then he actually went back to Puerto Rico and was working out of his dad's company until he came back to WWE, and now he is in the Judgment Day. So that's very shocking.
What do you think about that now? Do you think he's whole? Do you think he's really this? Do you think he deserves to be in the promo? Do you think he deserves better? Because he's in the Judgment Day. He's such a legend up and rising like guy that's been in the business, do you think he deserves to be in a better state of where he is, or do you think he's fine in the Judgment Day?
I feel like, and this is just in my opinion, I feel like he could actually probably be better on his own. He was a heck of a worker, especially doing the single matches that he was doing, even some tag team matches, because I know he tagged with his brother for a little bit. So it's just like getting that vibe of Carlito was kind of my favorite, especially when I heard his theme music coming out and his entrance. I was a big fan of that. I wish he would actually bring back that gimmick that he had, even though he spits in people's faces now. It
He'll
just
threaten with
worked
the
better.
apple too.
Yeah, it's like it just worked better with the entrance that he had back in the early 2000s, and I loved it so much. Every time it came on, I was a little kid in a candy store jumping for joy in the living room.
He does wrestle in Miami a lot at Magic City.
You know, the more you know.
Yeah,
Never knew that one.
Miami, Florida is a promotion. You can look it up when you're done with me. Called Magic City Wrestling, and the promoter over there knows Carlito really well. And before he was back with WWE, he'd come out there and come out with the boys, and they would come out and wrestle in Magic City.
I gotta go to Miami now.
Yeah, the road guy grows some rose vines and go to Miami.
Right? Come on.
You're in Carolinas. You're almost there.
Almost. Yeah. Let's say I have some calls to make when I get off.
Yeah, Miami. I don't know if he's there because remember he's with WWE, so he's like traveling. But
Let's say, hey, if I could get that moment just to meet him, I'd be happy.
and it's funny, like when you were a kid, I know you like a lot of the kids played the SmackDowns. Did you ever make Carlito like a big champion in the game more than just a U.S. champion?
So I tried to. Unfortunately, my older brother always made John Cena the big wrestling champion. I was like, yeah, he never let me do it, so it kind of was messed up in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because Carlito is a good character. Like they never really gave him much to just the U.S. and I think he won the IC title, right?
I want to say yes. I know he was U.S. champion because he won that in his debut against Cena, but I kind of going on a brain fart here, so I can't really tell you.
Yeah. So when you finally had your training, and then you after like let's go a little bit further after the training, what was your energy like the first time you went through the curtain for your first match?
Oh, unfortunately, I remember that like yesterday. It was back in last October. I was a nervous wreck. I had only trained for 6 months, and my trainer said, "I think you're ready to debut." And I was very scared. I was I was just nervous all around. So I had my significant other who wrestles. He walked with me to the ring, and he was basically my valet the whole time I was out there because I was just a hot mess. So, but having him out there kind of eased it, and then it just kind of went smoother after I got in the ring and actually started.
Awesome. Is it does it feel do you feel a little more like in tune that your significant other is in the business with you?
Um, it helps. It helps a little bit just because I know that he can help me with anything, like with training or anything like that. Sometimes we kind of do it outside of the ring, and we're just like, hey, you want to try this and this, well, we can try it now, and then we'll practice it when we get to practice or anything like that. So it's just like to be able to have someone that can do that is really phenomenal.
Awesome. Do you want to mention who your significant other is if the East Coast people are not familiar with him?
His name is Johannes McAllis, and he is the Freak Show. He unfortunately could not be here with me tonight, but plan for a future podcast with Joe in the future. I promise.
Yes. I was wondering why there was an axe through my door with a note. then Papa Panther said, "This is for you," and I was going, "Well, at least it's not through my head."
Right? That's all that matters.
He said, "Coming soon," and I'm like, "What's coming soon?" Oh, right, podcast.
Yep.
I
He's
needed to get new pair. I needed to get new pair of Panther pants that day.
he's not that bad, I promise.
Yeah, cool. And it's also going to be on Spooky Wrestling Month. That is going to be the October Festival of Scariness on the Dudes at Ringside podcast, where we could try the spookiest and kookiest male and female wrestlers here on on this Dudes at Ringside internationally known scene. I'm trying to help everybody out as I go. So, where have you been in like travel wise when you do your wrestling shows? Do you stay in the Carolinas? Do you travel like abroad? Have you done anywhere else yet?
So unfortunately, I have not had the pleasure to travel outside the Carolinas. I've been a few different cities here in North Carolina, but that is actually one of my major goals is to travel. I'm actually working on my passport to try to go to other countries. So when we cross that bridge, we will get to it. But as of right now, I'm just kind of in the Carolinas until, any promotions want to reach out to me and they're like, hey, we want you to come now. And I'm like, let's go.
I live in PA, so there's a few good ones here. We got PPW in Slatington, Pennsylvania. Actually, they have a show today. I had to miss it. Sad face because I had to work.
Aww.
They're really cool. But I'm hanging out with Ryleigh Rose, so I got a good bet. Lucky, hanging out with the Rose. I'd put my gloves on and then pull a nice rose out and lure her in. Look, roses. I put the roses by your chair. You're like, oh, thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
But you killed my friends.
Don't kill my friends.
I didn't cut them. I swear I didn't clip them. I lightly pulled them off and wrapped them up.
Oh, they die in a few days, but it's okay.
It's okay. Oh no. So I guess that's the one gift you tell your significant other, never get me roses.
So that's actually the funny thing. He actually he'll get me roses, anniversaries, birthdays. My birthday is actually coming up next month, so that's what I'm gonna ask for. So we're gonna be I'm not excited for that one, but as long as I get roses, I'm fine.
You could hang them upside down and have them like dry out, make them look pretty like a picture.
I've actually thought about doing that, and like doing any of my pictures with them. I thought about doing like my promo pictures with them, like that, just like laying down with all these roses around me. I thought that would be cute.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Just make sure there's no prickers on them, so you don't put your hands up and lean up like this, and you're like, oh.
Every rose has its thorns, so it's okay.
Yeah, that was the other song I was gonna use on your video, and I was like, didn't work.
It's okay.
It's too slow.
It's a good song though, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good slow song. Good slow dance. So like, let's go into it. You were just like today, like within like an hour ago, you were in a show. Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so we did a charity event at the Harley-Davidson Fort Bragg in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It was a charity event for the veterans who drive Harleys. We had a few of our guys and only me at the show. So we put on a couple of matches for them. Everybody was there. They loved it. Next Level always kills it. Doesn't matter whether we're doing a charity show or we're doing our own event.
It's a Ringside podcast.
So it's like, I love those. It was actually very fun for a good cause too. So we had a few that came from like South Carolina and everything. They drove up. So we just wanted to put on a good show for them, and they loved it.
Awesome. That's the best part of it. Like, when you go to these shows, do they let you at like a fair like this? Do they let you set up a table and stuff like that?
So we didn't do that today, but most of our events that we do sell our gimmicks. We have merch or sell our merchandise. We have intermission after a couple matches. We go to our tables where everybody has the chance to come up and buy from any of us because we have a few wrestlers that actually have their own merchandise, and they buy any and everything. They can take pictures, get autographs, anything like that.
Awesome. So, like, with you going to your shows, like, what is your normal training schedule like? Yeah, like it's sort of blocked out and stuff like that.
Yeah, so usually I go to the gym at least 4 times a week, but Wednesdays and Sundays are dedicated to our wrestling practice that we actually have at our academy. So we always go there Wednesdays and Sundays, work on everything until wee late hours of the evening, and then we go home and then do it again on Sunday.
Mm. So yeah, it must be crazy because you have to plan this out. You have to do your shows. So when you're doing your like training for your shows, do you like do you have to like map out your character, like who you're gonna face that night and stuff like that, or is it like do you train differently for who you're wrestling?
So we keep the training the same for the most part. And just the day that we have the event, we're just like, whoever we're facing that day, then we will pull moves out of our arsenal and see what would work best against that opponent.
When you travel to your shows, do you ever have to like plan and bring your food accordingly? Like if you have to go early, do you ever have to like pack a breakfast or a lunch and then and eat after the show, after your match and stuff like that?
So we usually, with our ring setup, we have to be there at least 3 to 4 hours early because that's how long it usually takes for us to put everything up. And then usually after setup, we have at least a 2 hour break to go and get food and just get ready to get in our gear, and then our show usually is there between 7:30, 7:15, 7:30 is when we usually start, and then we do everything intermission, a couple matches, and then we usually break down. So we're usually out of our venue around about 11 or 11:30, and then we have the next day off. So we're just like relaxing and trying to get our bodies back to where they need to be.
Mm. So after the show, what is your favorite place that's in the Carolinas that we can't get here in the like tri-state area? Favorite place for dinner?
So usually a couple of our wrestlers, after the show, we usually go to Waffle House. It's open late, it's good food, good Southern food.
Mm.
That's where we usually go because everybody usually is craving waffles for some reason after the shows.
Mm. You're gonna laugh. I had no idea there was one all the way up here in Scranton, Pennsylvania. That was one of the places that you should go to. Another place, Scranton, PA. They have a promotion called Smash Masters Wrestling. Yes, in Pennsylvania, there's one promotion. They say wrestling. They don't say wrestling. Wrestling. They're really you would like them. Smash Masters doesn't have belts, and they just have random matches, like random. They'll just toss two people against together, like. And sometimes they have intergender matches too. Hey, Vinny, welcome. Welcome, Vinny. One of my biggest fans. Vinny, welcome.
Hi, Betty.
He's one of my biggest fans. A good guy. Really cool guy. So like what's your thoughts on like intergender wrestling?
So I've had intergender tag team matches thus far. I've never had a one-on-one with a, actually no, scratch that. I lied. I actually had one today. Um, it was my very first one, so it was very interesting because obviously, men can't hit women.
Yeah, no.
In at least my eyes. So it's hilarious to be like, you can't hit me. Well, what am I supposed to do now? So it was
It's like
very different.
it's pretty much referee jumps in the way.
Yeah, well, referee was like, "Hey, got to get her out of the corner," and the man's like, "I don't know what to do," and then all of a sudden, I just get choked. So I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is what we're doing," but then I have to like muscle the man off just to get him off of me. It's like it's ridiculous. But today was actually my very first one, so it was entertaining. So I'm actually intrigued and kind of want to do more in the future.
I guess you're gonna have to get your promoters to be like, book me in more intergender matches.
Right? I'll say
Yeah.
there's a few eggs I need to break.
Yeah. You gotta get like achievements like on the PlayStation. Boom. You gotta get more.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Gotta get them
That
all.
will be.
You gotta get them all. So we were talking about before we were live. What are your thoughts on like deathmatch wrestling? Like matches? Have you ever thought of wanting to do one? Like
It's been in my booklet. It hasn't happened yet, so I'm very, very intrigued to see. I've seen a bunch of them on TV. I know a few of my fellow wrestlers who've actually been in one, and they have, of course, street fights. So either way, I am okay with going deathmatch or just hardcore matches all day. I really want to do one, so any promoter that wants to take me, I'm up
there we
for it.
go.
I'm up for
Is
it.
Yeah. Is there any like male or female wrestlers that you've been watching on the scene that you not had a chance to wrestle yet?
So at my next event next Saturday, at Fort Liberty, I actually finally get to step in the ring with the AP Audrey Allen. I've
Ooh,
been
I know
wanting,
her. Yeah.
I've been wanting to wrestle her for months now. Back in February, she decided to step into the ring after my match. I had a triple threat with Cece Young and Serena Vale. And then Audrey came out and bulldozed all of us. Of course,
Mm.
now it's my get back on her because I let her catch me off guard, and that was a mistake. So this time, all eyes are open.
She was on the podcast last year. She was very. She's part of the Ringside crew. Oh God, it's a dudes at rings. I guess I'm gonna have to dust off the dudes at Ringside Women's Championship, and I have to like send you an emoji of a championship belt with the logo in the middle. So you won the belt.
Yep, we'll
So
do that.
you have to tell her before you fight her backstage. You like Joe says that whoever wins this belt, we're gonna one of us is gonna win the dudes at Ringside Women's Championship. Like. She's gonna be like, "What's that?" I can see her going,
What's that?
huh?
I'll remind her next week and be like, all right, death match now too. So we'll go.
She's gonna be like this. Joe did what? I can see the message. Did you tell someone that you have a women's championship, Joe? In my dreams, in my imagination. It's my
Oh, she's
imagination.
harmless. Don't be scared.
She
She's
would probably
harmless.
make a joke about it because she's Audrey Allen. So her character's like a Disney. Yeah.
She likes spreading the magic. So
Yeah. We talked
she
about
likes.
Disney and all that stuff like that with her on her episode. So with your character Rose, like how did you come up with this whole like character? Like what were you thinking when you came up? Was it like what were you thinking?
So roses are my favorite flower, but the hindsight is, I actually came up with this gimmick with my significant other. We're kind of in a faction, as you say, and we are from the Freak Show, Cirque du Soleil, working out of that. So from St. Michael's, Quebec, Canada, actually, and we worked out of Cirque du Soleil um, until a fatal incident with him. So we kind of left that, and I was the strong woman. I'm the powerhouse of next level. So this is what I am. I'm strong as an ox, but I'm sweet as a rose.
You know who I also want to see wrestle this year? I don't know if you ever heard familiar with Sam Street.
Ah, that name is very familiar. Yeah, I haven't
I could
wrestled
because
her, but
she's a strong young lady that she's pretty strong. She wears all blue. She's a amateur wrestler and she's a wrestler. She won an award. She became a wrestler. She's on the podcast last year 4 times, and she's like every time she blow me away. Like she's so like she means a lot to the dudes at Ringside Pod. So are you. Everybody means a lot. Everybody has a little piece in our little blanket, my imaginary blanket of Dudes at Ringside podcast. Now now in my mind I have a little blanket, a little patch in the blanket. I got a sew later on that has a nice rose on it, has Ryleigh on it. You know what I mean? All you male and female wrestlers all have a piece in my heart of this
Aw.
podcast. So I want to ask, hey Vinny, where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years in the wrestling business?
So every wrestler, kind of wants to see themselves 5, 10 years down the road, signed to one of the major companies that there is. That would still be my goal, no matter if it's NXT, AEW, TNA, WWE. I would like any of them. But if that does not happen within those time frames, just traveling. I do want to go to other countries and kind of see what they have in store, how different their wrestling is compared to the American style. So it's literally just that.
So when you go to these shows, had the fans ever given you like gifts? Have they ever drawn you? Like, have you ever like got like a pop of yourself or anything like that?
Not yet, but we have this little fan that he and his family come to all of our events, and he takes pictures with all of our wrestlers. And then me and Johannes actually happen to be his favorites, so we're excited for him. Hopefully, maybe that will happen one day, but I'm okay with just taking pictures with the fans and have them have that memory for them.
Yeah, that's always the best part. You get that memory forever that the kids see you and they light up. Even if they're scared of certain things that your character has on you, or they're like, "I love that character. You're my favorite." Like, so with you being so young in the business, do you have any like stories to tell about any matches you've done so far?
Thus far, I have wrestled CC Young. She was actually my debut match with her, and I'll tell you that one's a wild card. She has tricks up her sleeves, especially with her manager with our company. Her and Johnny Badger always want to wreak havoc on me, so it's that one. I've had matches with Serena Vale. She's a newcomer to the business, just started around the same time I did. She's a little tricky little one, that vampire.
Yeah, I watched that match on YouTube. Like, let's talk about that match because that match was really really good with 3 females in one match. It really like made me think a lot of the like Attitude Era or Ruthless Aggression Era with Lita and Trish and stuff like that. Like, let's talk about it. That match was really good.
That one, yes. So I actually originally was heel and within this promotion, but of course I took a walk on the good side and tried to get all the fans behind me, and then those girls would not allow that. They decided that they were going to double team me because I am bigger than them, and they knew with just being one-on-one they couldn't take me down, so they decided to team up and try to take me out, but that did not work.
So with a triple threat match, you can't just keep looking at one person. Like, how do you keep your head on a swivel? Like, who do you start with when you hear that bell? Like, who do you start with? Like,
so usually it's actually how I usually do it is it's usually the smallest one. Actually, I usually try to take out because one hit for me and you're down for a few minutes. So and then I focus my attention on the other one. But it always seems to bite me in the rear with that because the one that I've always knocked down first seems to get back up and then hit me. So I got to figure that one out, to be honest.
yeah, that seems like the demo set because I'm like, oh wow, triple threat match. No. You have to be on both. You have to keep flipping and flipping and flipping. And like, who gets the attention more? So so are you? I saw that it was for the title in that match. Was that the second match? Because I saw that I got 2 different videos of you was you in the triple threat match, and then there was another one for the belt, or was that one for the belt? There was another one with you for the belt.
So the Next Level Pro Women's Championship was one of them. Unfortunately, we put on one heck of a show, but of course, in the end, I got outsmarted. Like I always end up having to be outsmarted because people want to take me out by my legs because, you know, that's my stance. I'm a powerhouse. So, of course, they got to get me down. And then I actually got face planted in that match. So, yeah, that championship is mine, and I'm coming for it. But yeah, that one didn't go so well.
So, you have a show coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yeah,
talk about that one before we go.
Yeah, so that one is actually next Saturday, July 17th, or July, oh my God, I'm not here, August 17th,
Yeah.
In Fort Liberty, North Carolina. This one's going to be a big event because it's actually for our troops. This is the very first time that my promotion is going on base. So this one's going to be a real lovely show. I'm actually looking forward to supporting our troops because I do have family in the military, or was in the military and still is. So this event actually hold near and dear to my heart.
Awesome. So, before we go, if there was any kids that wanted to get into the business and they did not know what kind of advice they get because their parents never did it, and you're in the business now, what kind of advice would you have for them?
I would say if you want to get in this business, it is crazy. It is going to hurt. You are going to want to quit time and time again, but push through that and pursue your dreams because on the other side, you are going to be really proud with yourself. Your family is going to be proud of you, and all the support of your fans, they're going to be proud of you. So, no matter what, if you want to be in this business, I say go for it, and maybe you might end up on the opposite side of the ring with me one day.
Awesome. So, Ryleigh, again, before we go, if my fans want to pick up any kind of merch, Ryleigh Rose merch, where can they find it?
So, unfortunately, I do not have any websites of my own. But if you are interested in any merchandise from me, we do have our website called nextlevelprowrestling.com. We do have some merchandise on there. We are still working to get everybody's on there. But if you want to send a message, it'll actually go straight to my promoter. And then he'll let us know, and then we'll be able to ship it out to you.
Awesome. Ryleigh, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It really means a lot to me. Just tell your friends, please tell your promoter and fans. Ryleigh, if my fans want to follow you on the socials before we go, how can they find you?
You can find me on my Facebook, Ryleigh Rose, Ryleigh. Rose spelled the same. And then my Instagram is Ryleigh Rose 3. So I'm eager to interact with more fans. And then you guys can actually find any of my events that I'm going to be participating at on there. I post every day or mostly every day. And then just like and subscribe for me.
Awesome. Ryleigh, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm Joe Panther III.
And I am Ryleigh Rose.
And we will catch you in the next one.